God's plan for you is so powerful, and discovering why is so important. Hey everyone, welcome to Faith, Family, and Freedom. I'm Charles Rose Jr., and today we're going to be talking about what God has for you will be for you. You're going to love this content, so make sure you stay tuned. But remember, make sure that you subscribe, smash that like button, and comment below. We want to hear from you. Many people go through life wondering what is my plan, like what does God have for me. God's plan for you is so powerful, and discovering why is so important. I heard Dr. Miles Monroe. He said this quote, and it kind of like changed my life when I heard it. He said, there are two most important days of your life. Number one, the day you were born. Number two, when you find out why. So discovering God's purpose for your life is going to be so key into knowing what God has for you. But let's kind of like let's back up a little bit and talk more on this subject on what God has for you. So many times, let's just say like when you're on the job, you're looking at a situation like, man, they're passing me over for promotions and I'm working so hard. Why is it somebody else? Like why I'm not being promoted? Maybe you feel like your older sibling or younger sibling or whoever, maybe you feel like maybe they're the one to always get the better toy, or to get the better chores, or whatever it may be. Maybe it's just some area of your life where you're like, man, like I wish I was like so and so. I wish I was like this person. I wish I was the one who was investing in this real estate apartment complex, or whatever it may be. You should figure out what God has for you, because let me tell you something. What God has for you will be for you no matter what. Like no one can replace you. We hear all the time we're irreplaceable. No, like God uniquely designed each one of us. Each one of us have a separate assignment here on this earth. None of us are alike. We are all uniquely designed by God. We're fearfully and wonderfully made. We're so uniquely designed by God that no one has your fingerprint. No one. Like you're the same person. Like your fingerprint, even if our fingers look similar, is so uniquely designed. And in the same way, God's purpose and plans for us are uniquely designed and assigned to us. Now, yes, sometimes multiple, of us may be, doctors, a bunch of us may be real estate investors, but God has a special area and a unique assignment for all of us. So I want to, leave you with this message. Like, stop worrying about what Joe or Susan has. Stop worrying about, your coworkers being promoted or whatever it may be. I've been in a similar situation where some of my coworkers who I, mentored, who I helped, they ended up getting a higher position than me. And whether they negotiated it, whether the supervisor saw something in them, or whatever the reason is, guess what? They can't take what God has for me, and I can't take what God has for them. So you should embrace it. When God's blessing somebody else, don't be jealous. Like, just tell yourself, I know God has what's for me. And so I just want to encourage you to keep the faith going, and know that nobody can take away. Like, even if you remember the story of Joseph from the Bible, Joseph went through so many trials and tribulations. He was forgotten by his brothers and thrown into a pit. He was sold into slavery. He was accused of messing with his master's wife, falsely accused. He was thrown into prison. He was forgotten by the people who he helped get out of prison. All of these things happened. But guess what? God had a place for Joseph, and Joseph's place was to be one of the most powerful men in Egypt. And if you were the most powerful man in Egypt at that time, then you were one of the most powerful men in the world, because Egypt was the one of the biggest and strongest kingdoms at that time. And God had that place for Joseph. Nobody could take that place. So the way Joseph got into that, just read the story in fullness. But Joseph had a gift of interpreting dreams. So God gave each one of us a unique gift. Joseph had this gift of interpreting dreams, and he interpreted a dream for Pharaoh. Pharaoh is, the king of Egypt. He interpreted that dream. Joseph interpreted the dream for Pharaoh that was bothering him. And the Bible says that no one else could interpret it. None of Pharaoh's magicians, none of his right hand men, none of his officials, nobody could interpret this dream. Only Joseph. So God used Joseph's gift to put him on the throne. The Bible said that Joseph was so powerful that the only thing that he was second to is the throne of Egypt. But he was in control. He was the governor over all the land. And God had that spot for him in a foreign nation, in the place where he didn't grow up. God had that spot for him. So what God has for you, no one can take it away. So don't be jealous. Don't be selfish. Ask God, what do you have for me? And celebrate those around you as they're getting these promotions and positions, because that's what God has for them. And just know that what God has for you is so great and uniquely designed for you. And that's what you're going to flourish in. So I want to leave you with those thoughts. Tell me what you think about this in the comment below. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video.